Oh, you didn't know? Your Wizards of the Coast ass better call someone.
Laughing aloud now, magic in the air. Wands roll around us, cast away our care. Friends in the hallways, adventures we find. Spells and enchantments, trouble on our mind. That's so wizard, oh, 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 oh. Life is a spell we know. We're casting joy and glow, oh, oh. That's a wizard show.
This actually dropped yesterday, but I wanted to see if there was any more information about it before we jumped on this grenade. But so far, they're just laying it out there in their typical way. What's up, nerds? It's your boy, the OGGM, coming to you live from Site B, 8:48 in the morning on this, the 17th day of April. It is 55 degrees and cloudy, and Wizards of the Coast has announced the April 22nd release of the 2024 System Reference Document. If you want to make product for Wizards of the Coast after this day, it's going to have to follow the brand new SRD. Now, why is this so important? Most of you are like, but I was already making stuff for 5/2024. What's different? Don't know. But apparently, if you've been making stuff for 2024 D&D, it wasn't under the official 2024 D&D system reference document, but is only following the Creative Commons, which they're also going to be changing. Now, what's the single most important thing about this is this right here. Additionally, Wizards of the Coast will publish a conversion guide for updating game content from 2014 to 2024. This guide will arrive on a later date. Wasn't there a conversion guide in the new DM's guide? We need a conversion guide and additionally. But, excuse me, Wizards of the Coast. I'm sorry. I know I'm just a simple backwards game master from California, but I'm pretty sure that you told us 2024 D&D was backwards compatible, and we would not need a conversion guide because they fit so well together, like peanut butter and molasses. To release not one but two conversion guides, Mr. Wizards of the Coast, would make me believe that it is not, in fact, backwards compatible, because I shouldn't have to convert anything, because the main selling point, one of the many main selling points that Jeremy Crawford went over and over and over with, was the fact that you could play a 2014 character and a 2024 character at the same table and no changes were necessary. They were compatible with each other. They could each play one without the other and it would be fine. As long as you ignore the fact that there's so many blatant differences between 2014 and 2024 classes. But yeah, completely backwards compatible. They would not change. But apparently, if we need not one, but two conversion guides, maybe it's not backwards compatible. Maybe it's just finally time to admit it's a completely new edition and just be done with it, because this is pretty much what you're doing. But no, instead they're focusing on the fact that this brand new system reference document is coming out. Oh, a comment already. Good morning. I was just going to get into that. So I can't find it. I thought it was on D&D Beyond, but maybe they took it down. Right after they announced this, they put up this picture with a call for third-party content creators, letting them know that they could now start making official creative content for Dungeons and Dragons 2024. Again, I know people have been making stuff for Dungeons and Dragons 2024 since the Player's Handbook came out, but I guess those weren't official. Or perhaps it has more to do with this. than this. Perhaps it has more to do with the fact that the new SRD will include the new Creative Commons and the new rights and regulations, which is the single most important thing that we need to pay attention to in regards to this new SRD, specifically in regards to who owns what. Now, it should not come as a surprise to anybody because this has been around for a long time, but when you give product to Wizards of the Coast, like for a contest, like the Eberron contest, that product becomes theirs even if they don't ever use it, which means if you submitted something and they didn't use it, like the Eberron contest, it's still theirs. So you couldn't release it under something else without them going, hey, no, that's ours. This is just doubling up on that more so. And they've told us that they were going to do this repeatedly. It should not come as a surprise to anybody. They have blatantly told us that this is what they're going to do. They told us in regards to D&D Beyond. They told us in regards to DM's Guild. They told us in regards to Roll20. Anything that is officially associated with them, if you submit third-party content, it becomes theirs. They can, from going forward under the new Creative Commons, change it without telling you. Never publish it without telling you or paying you for it. Publish it again without telling you or paying you for it. Take bits and pieces out of it and use it in a different project and not tell you and not pay you for it because it's theirs. The second you put it on D&D Beyond, the second you put it in DM's Guild, the second you do anything with theirs that they're officially considered theirs, it becomes theirs, which means it also becomes prime real estate for the AI to scan through when it's looking for content, gobble up bits and pieces, regurgitate into a new product, and then they could sell that product and they don't have to pay you. This is like in Hollywood when somebody releases a movie and somebody steps forward and says, no, I wrote for the script for that movie 22 years ago. You can't make that movie. And Hollywood goes, okay, well, why are you just bringing this to our attention now if you made the script 22 years ago? And two, all right, let's fight this out in court, but we'll just end up settling. But yeah. Except if you submit to them, you can't do that. If 10 years from now, DM Kurt is going through an adventure of Wizards of the Coast, I know it won't be DM Kurt, but I'm just using him as an example. And he reads some chapter and he goes, wait a minute, that looks a lot like what I submitted to them 10 years ago. And then he goes back and checks and goes, what? That is what I submitted to them 10 years ago. They took it out of my product and put it into this new product and they didn't tell me and they didn't pay me. I'm going to take them to court for infringing on my copyright. And Wizards of the Coast goes, no, you can't do that because as you see right here, 10 years ago when you submitted this product to us, DM Kurt, it became ours. Lock, stock, and barrel. We own every single piece of it from A to Z. And if the AI took out that one chapter and used it in this brand new product, too bad. The timing of letting go of most of their paid human staff is a hint that they are unpaid staff if you write for them. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah. You're going to create stuff. They're going to take it. There'll be a prize or maybe a small, but it becomes theirs, which goes into follow up on what we talked about yesterday. They don't need a staff. Hasbro doesn't need wizards. D&D is done. Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, DM's Guide, that's it. 6 projects this year, 4 projects next year, 2 projects the year after that. After 2027, nothing planned. 5 years, 5-year plan. They said that yesterday when they were talking about this. 5-year plan is all they have for D&D 2024. Because they don't need to plan anything or have people on staff to create stuff. Crawford and Perkins left behind the roadmap for the next 3 years. They've got 50 years of stuff sitting somewhere that's slowly being digitized that they can have the AI just go through and regurgitate. They've got all the nostalgia products, which they already said they're re-releasing. We've already seen the re-release of Keep on the Borderlands. We know they're working on a re-release of Ravenloft. We know they're working on a re-release of the Lost City, the one that Professor DM talks about all the time. We know that there's probably going to do Against the Giants again and just convert it to 2024 D&D, which is pointless because it's backwards compatible. So why would you need to do Ravenloft again? You already did it, and it's backwards compatible. Are you telling me it's not backwards compatible? So between the nostalgia, between the AI having 50 years of stuff to gobble up and regurgitate based upon theme, and now with the new Creative Commons, they don't have to do any work. You're going to do the work for them, or the work's already done. So we don't need a staff of creatives that we're paying lots of money to, when we can just have a very small staff who are basically there to be figureheads and take bad press. And, then we pay some kid, some script kiddie, 90% less than we would have paid a staff to simply program the AI or cut and paste. And with 50 years of TSR stuff, Wizards of the Coast stuff, third-party stuff that was official, all you have to do is enter a search into the AI. Let's go Egypt, because pyramids are always a popular one. The AI will find every product that's ever been made for Dungeons and Dragons that has anything to do with Egypt or pyramids, and then gobble it up and regurgitate, and they can present it as a new Desert of Desolation 2026. No work done. Just get that one script kiddie to go through it and make sure that everything seamlessly fits together, and the AI didn't make too many mistakes. Bam! Bob's your uncle. Creative Commons will now make it so that if you submit anything, it becomes theirs. So if you are a third-party creator and you want to release stuff for 5th edition 2024 or 5th edition 2014, do not release it on DM's Guild. Do not release it on D&D Beyond. Do not release it using the Creative Commons. Use the ORC and release it through Kobold Press or any of the other ones that Wizards of the Coast has no control over. Or simply scrub off the Wizards of the Coast connection entirely and use the for use with games like 5e, or release it for Shadowdark, release it for Tales of the Valiant, release it for Castles and Crusades. Unless you're, look, unless you're just so excited about the possibility of saying, hey, I made a product for Dungeons and Dragons, and I don't care about any of that other stuff, as long as I win the initial prize and I can say I made a product, even if I don't ever get credit for it, and I love Wizards of the Coast no matter what, then you should do this. I mean, they're counting that there are people who will not care about this or who won't read the fine print. They're counting that there's still enough love for D&D 2024 that people will still submit stuff to D&D Beyond and all the other ones and not care. Because they can just say, hey, I made a D&D product. Ooh, look, I'm relevant. I'm special. I won a prize. And then, they're counting on the fact that those people won't care or didn't read the fine print. Moving on to the other story. Speaking of things changing and announcements and further proof that it is not backwards compatible, D&D Beyond also dropped this little Easter egg, this little nugget. They've made a bunch of changes. They've released an errata. How can they release an errata? It just came out. Yeah, I know. And weird, huh? So they've nerfed a bunch of stuff. They've nerfed the conjuring spells again. They've nerfed the stealth checks again. I don't know what else they've nerfed, but mostly just keep changing things. Things that did not work in 5e 2024 because it turns out it's not backwards compatible, and we have to change the math because it doesn't work the way we thought it would work. And even after all these years, conjuration spells and rangers still are something we can't get right. Maybe just stop doing them. Just stop trying. All the other games seem to get rangers and conjuration spells right. You don't hear people complaining about the conjuration spells in Pathfinder or any other game that has conjuration spells. It's just your guys. You guys can't seem to get this right. You've never been able to get conjuration spells right. Now, I was hoping there would be some more news in regards to this from the people who are more in tune than I am. It's strange that it's the second time in a row that I got the jump on some of the more major publishers in regards to the SRD thingy. Yeah, you know, Professor Dungeon Master hasn't mentioned it yet. Glicker hasn't yet mentioned it yet. Some of the other ones haven't mentioned it yet. I don't know how I'm getting the jump on these guys. I'm going to take what I can get, you know, but I'm going to do it first. But yeah, I mean, they'll do better jobs. You know, I mean, Glicker and Professor Dungeon Master will do better jobs getting the information to you because they actually have major contents with the industry. My remaining contents with Wizards of the Coast is very vague at best. It's like, you know, I know a guy who knows a guy kind of thing. So yeah, but really in closing, it's not like this is a surprise, guys. It's not like they snuck this up on us and went, nobody's going to notice we did this. No, they've blatantly been telling you for years that they were going to do this. They told you Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons 2024, 5-year life plan. That's it. They told you. It's not like this has ever been a lie. They told you that they're going to do this with your stuff. They've been telling you for years that when you submit stuff, it becomes theirs. When you submit stuff, the AI can reuse it at any point in time, and we don't have to tell you. We can change it, and we don't have to tell you. We can print it 20 years from now. We don't have to tell you, and we don't have to pay you. This isn't a surprise. This isn't some secret, insidious master plan. They have been telling you this is what they're going to do for a very long time. And I have pointed it out to you time after time after time again, and it still never ceases to amaze me how many people are still like, no, they're never going to do that. No, Wizards of the Coast won't do that. No. Nah, yeah, they are. They told you they were. Why would they tell you they're not going to do it and then not do it? The other thing is, I'm sure there are people out there going, well, now that we have the new Creative Commons, remember when they promised they were going to go back through all the old stuff and re-release it under the new Creative Commons? That's going to happen, right? I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I can't wait for them to re-release insert favorite classic module here. Yeah, they're gonna re-release those. They said that. They've already re-released Keep on the Borderlands. It's in the new starter set, but it's written under the whole new 2024 mindset, including having gone through the content sensitivity editors to make sure that there's nothing in Keep on the Borderlands that is any way, shape, or form offensive or unsafe or suggests danger in any ways. So if you're excited that now they're going to go through the old stuff and re-release it, well, they just said they are going to go through the old stuff and re-release it because that's less work they have to do. And B, it's going to be under the new thingy. It's going to be under the new mindset. So your beloved module is going to be gobbled up, regurgitated, twice the price it was when it was first available, and it's going to fall under the safety tools and the sensitivity readers and the, hey, this might be scary, so let's take it out. Oh, we can't use spiders. Somebody playing this game might be afraid of spiders. So we got to make sure that there's nothing in the product that could trigger anybody. That's the version you're going to get. You're not going to just get them reprinting the classics. No. If you want the classics the way they were originally presented, stop counting on Wizards of the Coast to do it. Those are out there. The PDFs are out there. The PODs are out there. You can find them on eBay all the time. You can find them all the time. You can just reach out to friends and say, hey, do you have a copy of? You can go to some game store that has older stuff in stock and look through and stuff. If you really want a copy of Island of Dread, it's out there. Plus, there's those Goodman Games reprints that they did, which are more difficult to find right now and more expensive than they were. But really, would you rather spend $50 on the very well done job that Goodman Games did? Or would you pay $90 for whatever Pavlov Wizards of the Coast is going to vomit out when they redo Ravenloft or whatever they're going to redo next? So, yeah. If you're that one guy who was holding out, oh, now I'm going to be able to get Isle of Dread, they're going to re-release it. Sure, yeah, they're going to re-release it. It's going to be twice as expensive, and it's going to be the safe version of Island of Dread. So the plot will be about you and your friends going to an island and having a beach party. Meanwhile, I'm still waiting for Magic the Gathering, the Sesame Street crossover, because...
laughing aloud now, magic in the air. Wands roll around us, cast away our care. Friends in the hallways, adventures we find. Spells and enchantments, trouble on our mind. That's so wizards, oh, 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 oh. Life is a spell we know. We're casting joy and glow, oh, oh. That's a wizard show. Mischief in the classroom, potions gone astray. Flying through the quad, now brighter every day. Laughter we cry hard, sneaking out at night. Cloaks in the moonlight, everything feels right. That's so wizards.